Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is another message in the realm of mastering our relationships. And today I want to talk to you guys about just a common theme that, throughout the entire time I've been working in this industry in personal development and developing myself, which is really based on the last 7 years that I've been really diving deep into this realm and actually starting out as a relationship coach. This has been a common thread, what we're going to be talking about today, in terms of how we show up in the dynamic of our relationship and what sets an intimate relationship, outside of just any old other relationship, right? And basically looking at the common themes of what most people are challenged with. I've worked with a lot of individuals and a lot of couples up until this stage. And basically, I have been definitely seeing the common themes of what is presented to us in this area and the struggles that we have. I've seen that firsthand. I've experienced it in my own relationships as well. And I really want to unpack this with you guys. And as usual, I want to make this a really co-creative space. I love when you guys connect and share your different parts of wisdom, your experience, everything that is coming up for you. And, there are no wrong perspectives. So basically, these spaces and these conversations that I love having with you guys and co-creating with you guys are really just about expanding all of our perspectives. It's not just about the one and only right way of looking at things. It's how is there always a truth in what we share, but how is it maybe partial, and how could we stay open to different perspectives, right? That's what I'm always trying to do with you guys, and love that you guys contribute. So today, I want you guys to think all things intimate relationship and reflect into your own personal experience, and then look at, how you view society and your friendships, and the people around you, maybe what your parents' relationship, what you deem that to look like. And basically, I want you to think about this in terms of the quality of relationship, and in particular, intimate relationship. Because from the words of Tony Robbins, who I'm sure we all are on the same page we might not be, but definitely I wouldn't be where I am without the amazing Tony Robbins and his work. But I love something that he said. And basically that is that the only difference between an intimate relationship and a friendship is the intimacy, right? And so this is what we have to it's just common sense, right? And so what makes intimacy occur in relationship is attraction, right? Attraction between differences, attraction between opposites. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. So basically the message that I have been really tapping into today in my own personal world is what I want to share with you guys. So basically today's message is the current collective level of development in intimate relationship, how it's costing us attraction, and the emergence of integrated intimacy. All right, this is a powerful one because you guys have heard me say time and time again, the greatest vehicle for our personal growth and our personal fulfillment in life is our intimate relationship, all right? Or relationships, right? I feel like it gives us an opportunity to grow at our highest levels and experience the real depth of love and connection and intimacy with other human beings, right? So this is super important in my books. And basically what I want to talk to you guys about today is the way I've been thinking about the emergence and the past experiences, the current climate, and the emergence of our masculine and feminine dynamics and energies in our intimate relationships. I don't know about you, but I hear time and time again, I've experienced it myself, where intimate relationship can be amazing and so much attraction, and then you can kind of just end up as roommates, right? And where did it all go? And the honeymoon doesn't last, right? And all these kind of concepts that we have just mindlessly bought into in society, and we experience them. So we kind of prove ourselves right in our mindless just following of the, the voices that have come before us. So I'm going to break this down into 3 parts for you guys. We're going to look at the past and the old masculine feminine dynamic. We're going to look at the current masculine feminine dynamic, and we're going to look at the emerging masculine and feminine dynamic. Why do we want to look at this? Because all of us want true fulfillment and lasting attraction in our intimate relationships in order to make it, a purpose, right? Our intimate relationship is here to do those different things and take us in different pathways than we wouldn't be able to do if we just were left by ourselves, right? So there's a lot of value and power here, and there's a lot of misconceptions, and there's a lot of things that are holding us back from truly experiencing the depth and the intimacy that we can in our intimate relationships. So let's take it back. Let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the old masculine and feminine dynamic. Now, we can take this right back through history, where there were, there was a real divide between masculine and feminine, right? And basically, it was like there was a real separation. There was like masculine was this, feminine was this, and we weren't operating in the other realm, right? It was a lot of subordinating feminine people, majority are women, right? They subordinate, and there was a lot of domination in the masculine side, right? So it was subordinate and dominate, right? And so there was lots of difference, and differences make for attraction, but basically that past level, which is still kind of occurring in different realms in our current climate, but I'm going to talk about it more as it used to be more of a collective in the past. Basically, that might make for great attraction, but it ended us into very codependent relationships because we were very purely masculine or feminine, right? And so therefore, we needed the other part of us so that we could exist and live, right? And so basically it became very transactional relationship in masculine and feminine, right? It was very much, trading of financial security or safety to the feminine from the masculine for, sex and heirs, right? From the feminine. And basically, it worked. Very codependent, very, past stage developmentally. And basically that is our stage of development in codependence of the masculine and the feminine, right? And you see this play out all the time. You've probably started out in very codependent relationships, it would be my guess, because the majority of us have definitely had that. Definitely for myself, I can very much relate to what it feels like to be in a codependent relationship where you're reliant and needy on another person and they're doing it to you, albeit that you might be trying to get different things from the other person. But basically, not the healthiest stage, but a necessary stage for human evolution and relationship development, right? We all have to go through those stages. So that's the old masculine, feminine kind of dynamic that has been at play. You can take that back to the Middle Ages and before, and you can also put it into the stereotypical, 1950s housewife married to the macho, emotionally unintelligent or unavailable man with the subordinating feminine, weak masculine, right? Subordinating, dominating, right? That's the first old stage of masculine and feminine dynamic. All right, now let's move to the current climate, right? So bring in feminism, bring in all of these great things, right? Again, nothing is right or wrong. Everything is in a stage of development, right? A stage of evolution is necessary, is true but partial, okay? So basically in the current climate that emerged from that, subordinating feminine and dominating masculine, which again is still present, but the emergence and the development as a collective came into this dynamic that I see we're most in as a collective right now. And basically what that is this independent stage, right? It's like, hang on a minute, I, as a feminine woman, do not need to subordinate to the masculine, right? I'm going to step into my own masculine energy. And basically that's kind of the trend and what's created this. And then what's happened is, because we impact and influence one another, the whole societal narrative had become, toxic masculinity, referring to the domination in the previous stage of development from the masculine, and the subordinating nature, bringing it back into balance, right? We don't want to subordinate, we want to be empowered, right? And so that's a healthy stage of development for all human beings as well, right? And so basically what's happened and what's emerged from that, from this new, more current kind of dynamic between the masculine and feminine is very well-intentioned human beings who are trying to create equality. But we've got feminine, truly feminine essenced people overdoing masculine energy, right? This is where we've got our, I hate this term, but where we've got like our boss bitches, right? It's like, and we've got our toxic masculinity, shaming men and their masculinity, right? And so what's happening is it's a balancing act. It's part of the evolution. It's part of the growth. But where it's landed us in our intimate relationships is where women are being overly masculine and men are subordinating into their feminine, which just reinforces to the other side to go more into their opposing essence, right? So this is why we're having a lot of relationships that end up as roommates, that lose attraction, very well-intentioned, beautiful human beings who want the best and strive for the best, but they're falling into this sameness, right? And what's happening, what I'm seeing is happening, is that all of us are equal as human beings, right? Equality is absolutely true, right? A man is not better than a woman is not better than a man. But we've mixed this up a little bit. And what's happened is, what we've done is we've taken on all of the roles of the other side, and then it's left for, kind of two people, right, who are the same. And when two people are the same, one of you isn't necessary. What makes for attraction is the play on the differences. What kills attraction is sameness, but it definitely makes for friendship. I don't know if you've been in an experience where you've fallen out of love with somebody, right? Out of love. You have had amazing attraction with somebody, and then you just kind of become really good friends, roommates, friends, whatever, right? And what happens is you've lost the differences. You've lost your ability to play upon the differences. Again, a necessary stage of development is developing the other side, right? So for me as a feminine woman, it's absolutely necessary for me to develop my masculine side, right? To be able to operate my own business, to be able to strive towards goals. All of those things are absolutely necessary for my development and for the collective development as we all do that, right? And for a masculine man, it's absolutely necessary for him to also develop the feminine side, to be able to be attuned to emotions, empathy, relationships and connection. All of those different things, right, are necessary for us as an individual to have both sides of. But what's happened is we're not seeing beyond this. We're still stuck in the, hey, I'm a woman and I don't need no man, right? Or the man who's been now burnt by a masculine woman and now he projects hatred towards femininity and other women, right? And This is happening left, right, and center, right? It's this separation. It's this independent stage. Like, I don't need you, right? And basically, we're negating those differences. We're becoming the same, and we're losing our ability to play upon the differences. So in the codependent old paradigm of masculine and feminine energy, there was just a massive play on the differences between masculine and feminine. It wasn't conscious. It was how we were wired, right? The subordinating feminine and the dominating masculine. Then we evolved to, more of the current climate right now, which is, hey, like, I can do everything a man can do. And hey, I don't need, a woman to control me or whatever it is, right? And so we've got this, well-intentioned people. We haven't lost the desire and the drive to connect and be loved and love. It's just that we're going through a stage of development where we're losing our attraction for one another because we're not consciously engaging our differences. We're still unconscious to what's at play. And although previously in the previous stage, there was still attraction because there was the unconscious differences at play, now we've consciously leveled the playing field, but we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. We've decided, no, this difference between masculine and feminine is just not a good thing, right? Because look at what it did for subordinating women and dominating men. We don't need any of that, right? And so we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater, and now we've become all things, or trying to be all things, but we're overplaying the other side. Women are overplaying their masculine energy and feeling depleted, feeling annoyed, feeling like, all the men out there are purposeless, right? And then the men have thrown their masculinity aside, and they're, because the fear of toxic masculinity, and basically become effeminate and have lost their drive, have lost their purpose, and are seeing women as these dominating bitches, right? I hate that word, but like that's kind of what is happening there. And so basically, the previous, that core masculine drive to provide and protect has been, we don't need that. We don't need you to provide for us. We don't need you to protect us. We can provide for ourselves and we can protect ourselves, right? We'll learn some self-defense and whatever, right? And then women, taking over those masculine gifts, all well-intentioned, but basically is making men fall into this purposeless drive, right? Because, at a core of the masculine is this deep desire to provide and protect and be free and be successful, right? And so we're kind of playing this kind of, overlap on one another. And it's basically killing attraction, because a feminine woman at her core is attracted to masculine energy. And if the men are being feminine, it kills the attraction. And the same thing for the man. A truly masculine man at his core is attracted to feminine energy, and he's getting masculinity, thrown his way as well. So there is just this well-intentioned, unconscious, part of the stage of development, dynamic between the masculine and feminine that we need to look at in terms of looking at life as being very valuable to develop both of our sides of masculine and feminine. But then we need to look very consciously and very intelligently at what are the aspects of intimate relationship that I'd like to have that would make it fulfilling, right? That would make it, attractive. And basically we need to realize that it's not that women need to just subordinate and only be in feminine energy, or men need to dominate and only be in masculine energy. We want to be able to go out into the world and be both parts, be able to draw upon our feminine energy as a man or as a woman, depending on the context and what we're trying to influence or impact. And we also want to be able to go out into the world as a man or a woman and get into our masculine energy. We want to be able to draw upon either, dependent on the context. But then when we get to our intimate relationship, if we truly want to recharge, re-energize, and create and maintain and enhance attraction, then we basically need to be understanding, okay, I'm feminine at my core, my partner's masculine at his core. Basically, that's going to be the 80% of the time that's going to build the most attraction for you to be in. So in your intimate relationship as a woman, or if you are feminine at your core as a man or a woman, being able to tap into that, right? Being open and receptive. And for the masculine partner to be able to, to lead a little bit more, to get into that masculine drive, right? That meeting of challenge and all of those beautiful things, right? That's what we want to just be able to play upon. And basically that brings us to the emerging masculine and feminine dynamic, which I'm calling integrated intimacy, right? That's what I feel it is. It's an integration of both parts, the masculine and the feminine, within both individuals, but then they're consciously aware enough to know that if they want to spark attraction at will in their relationship and not just end up as roommates, then basically they want to be able to play consciously on the masculine and feminine traits. And it doesn't mean that a feminine woman can't, spark attraction with a partner by tapping into a bit of her masculinity, and vice versa, tapping into a bit of femininity. But basically there has to be the opposites at play every time. If you have two masculines, too much competition. If you've got two feminines, you're just sitting on the couch eating chocolate and ice cream and getting fat together, right? It's like, we want to play the differences, and we also want to, be able to enjoy the similarities that we have. But what I'm specifically talking about today is the play on attraction, because like I mentioned at the beginning, the only difference between an intimate relationship and a friendship is the intimacy. So you can have all the friendships you like, but when it comes to your intimate relationship, if you really want lasting attraction and depth of love and connection, you need to know this stuff, and you need to emerge from the current collective dynamic between the masculine and the feminine, right? In this independent stage, and you need to access this interdependent, integrated intimacy by being wholly switched on human beings on the individual level who develop yourselves in both the masculine and the feminine. You're empowered individuals, but then together to spark attraction, consciously how to play upon the masculine and the feminine to keep that spark alive and thriving. All right, so that is my message for each and every one of you guys today. I love delivering these for you. I hope this one was of value to you, and I definitely want to check in and see who's been able to join me. And if you have any thoughts on this or words of wisdom that you want to contribute, or any questions, comments, all the rest of it, or just say hi and let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. Let's connect. I love it. So Brian's here. Donald is here as well from Fort Dodge. Awesome to have you. And Muang is here. Morning from Myanmar. Awesome to have you. And May's here, and Henry and Bill and Mark and Mohammed and Amara and Carlos and Graham and Crystal and Judy and David and AJ. Hello to you. And Philip's here from Canada. Awesome. And Mareed is here, and Naila and Chaudhry. And you're watching from Europe. So nice, conversation impressive. Love having you here, my friend, and grateful that this is of value to you. Thank you for letting me know. And Raymond's here as well, and Than and Attic and Matthew and Than. Good morning, Vanessa, watching from Myanmar. Yes. Awesome to have you as well. And Hassan and Juwinta. And Julie's here as well. Awesome. And Graham, is that not the gamble of relationships, to find the right measures in each other that work? Or do you think modern living is making it more complicated to find a balance? Love this question, Graham. So basically, I don't think anything has to be a gamble. Of course, life is filled with risks, right? And particularly relationship, right? We risk getting our heart broken or whatnot, right? But I believe in a really, consciously designing your relationship rather than just defaulting and gambling, right? There are certain aspects of relationship dynamic that are universal, that can be applied once known to your relationship to consciously design it in the direction that most inspires you, right? And most of us are just a little bit unconscious to that, and that's okay, because we're all on different stages of development. There is a collective stage, which is the majority of people, which is what I'm talking about today in that current stage of development. And it's all necessary. None of it's wrong, but we owe it to ourselves to realize what's at play and build higher levels of consciousness so that we don't default into situations and relationships that we don't want, that aren't fulfilling and have no attraction. And we actually want to move consciously in the direction of highly attractive relationships that are filled with fulfillment, that are in alignment with a vision of relationship that you're inspired by and your partner is inspired by. Okay, and so there are definite elements affecting us from all levels, but the difference is in our level of consciousness and awareness. And having conversations like this, my hope is that it sparks a new level of awareness for each and every one of us to go, hang on a minute, like, what is going on in my relationship? Am I just defaulting into this unconscious path? And what would I want it to be? How could I design it in the direction that would most inspire me, right? And defining what that is, right? It's always about awareness, transformation, and then, moving in that direction. All right. So hope that that's of value, and so appreciate your question there, Graham. And Saw is here as well. And Graham, you're from the UK. Awesome as always to have you. And Nate's here as well. And Gord is from Canada, cool. And Nicholas is here, and Henry. Greetings from Amsterdam, awesome. Any exercises to get the balance right for a male to spark the attraction? Oh, I love it. Definitely. So basically, I do have a guide on this that I could give you guys if I can track it down. But basically, so if you are a male, I'm going to assume you mean you're the masculine energy partner and you're looking to spark attraction with a feminine essenced woman. Basically, you definitely want to tap into complimenting her. You want to see what she does. You want to compliment her as in terms of what is important to her. You want to look at stepping into more of a masculine energy, like sharing what your purpose is, sharing what your drive is, being pre-planned about, directing, what's healthy for both of you. In terms of a really great example of this is, to be able to just go, hey, set up a date night, for instance, if you're in relationship, or, pre-plan something like taking her out, doing something that that she will purely enjoy, right? And that will connect you. Having direction, having purpose, opening up a space to take responsibility for yourself and for your life and for your future, that creates a lot of safety for a feminine woman and will put her into her feminine energy. And so all of those things, there's a bunch that we could go into with that, but they might be some of the things. So you just knowing that if you're more masculine at your core, you just accessing more of your masculine energy, having purpose, having drive, setting goals, breaking through challenge, taking risks, but that are premeditated, right? That are healthy, that are future directed. All of these different things that will allow you to access more of your masculinity, that will automatically influence a feminine essenced person to be more attracted to you, all right? But then, like some of those other examples are really great as well. Have purpose, have certainty, have direction, take responsibility for yourself and also for your emotional states. And the biggest, best one for men who are masculine in their core to work on is your ability to be unshakable and fully present in whatever emotion your feminine partner can present. This is one of the major things that keeps us separated, keeps women in their masculine and keeps men operating in their feminine, is, not being able to handle whatever emotions your feminine partner presents. Feminine energy is like a storm, right? Like it's full of emotion. It's the roller coaster, right? You don't know what you're going to get always. And what happens is that women end up shutting down their emotional expression because of how it's received by their masculine partner, right? Their masculine partner wants to shut that down, right? It can't handle it, wants to run away from the emotion, one only can be there when the feminine partner is expressing, idolized, positive emotions, right? If it's anything deemed negative, it's too scary, right? And all that is the masculine being more feminine, right? Like he can't handle it. And so it shuts a feminine woman down, right? And so she's learnt to just deal with her own emotions, right? Because, it creates more problems than it's worth. Right? And so she doesn't trust her masculine partner anymore. That's why women step into their masculine energy. If they don't trust that, their partner is going to step up and, be okay, they'll take over that role. And, and so just knowing these dynamics is absolutely key. So hope that was helpful for you, Henry, and I so appreciate the question. And Marie's here as well, and Salman and Jay Kashan, good morning to you. Great to have you as always. And Mohammed's here, and Dan and Lou and Rashad and Aoni and Gord. What do you think about having a 16 years age difference? Like I'm 46 and the woman is 30 years old, and I have never dated a woman in my whole life. Wow. Okay. Well, this is an adventure for you, Gord. I love it. And I so appreciate the question and for you sharing that, your experience. So I'm of the belief that age means nothing, right? Like, here's where the difference is. It's the stage of life that you're at. For instance, I've got friends who have like a 20-year difference in their relationship. And the challenge in that relationship the major challenge in the relationship has been that the man who is older, 20 years older, he's had his family, he's had his kids. And the 20 years younger woman, she's not a 20-year-old, she really wants to have children. She's never experienced that, right? And so that's a real challenge, right? That makes the difference with the age. Now, outside of that, they have a beautiful connected relationship, right? They've got lots of attraction. They've got a great friendship and connection, other things working. But because of the stage of life that is different at that pivotal point, that can present a challenge. So it depends on the stage of life that you're at. If you have a shared vision for the future, your values support one another to live within your own values and what's meaningful to you. They don't have to be the same, but they have to support one another. Then, age is no boundary. But it's still something that you want to consider. It's always individual to yourself and your partner. What do you think about, so nothing about that. And if you haven't ever dated a woman before in your life, you've got lots to learn. And I love that. And what I would say to you is study. Here's a book that I would highly recommend. No matter what stage of relationship you're at, this is the book. And I say it's a book written for men, but I actually say every man and woman should read this. And it's by a man by the name of David Deida, D-E-I-D-A, I think it is. Oh, I shouldn't have even tried to pronounce, spell that for a moment, because I think that's right. But basically the book is called The Way of the Superior Man. Now, what that does is breaks down for you to understand in a really easy, simple way what the difference between masculine and feminine energy is, and how to, as a masculine cord man, operate with your feminine partner. And if you're a woman reading this, it's going to give you the answers as to how to educate yourself and your partner on how best to work together to make sure that you don't lose the beautiful differences that we get to contribute to a relationship with our masculine and feminine. And you don't get caught in that trap of, ending up as roommates and not, where both parties are just fully exhausted because you've been so well intentioned. You want the same things. You want a great relationship, but you don't know the dynamics that are at interplay, right? You're unconscious to the dynamics. So I would highly recommend go and read the book, The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. Okay. And that's for everybody, but yeah, I definitely recommend it for you, Gord. It'll really help you to make sure that what you're creating is amazing, and vision and values is everything. So, this is a big part of the work that I do. So you guys can always reach out to me if you are unsure about the pathway forward and how to navigate these sort of things. So always take advantage of that. And love your share there, Gord. And Jamel, good to have you. And Sal and Gord. And they live out of the province of where I live and don't have a lot of money. Okay. Yeah. So, you got to get the base right, the dynamics right. I would question why, what are the benefits of this? What are the drawbacks of this? Why is it of concern to you, right? Listen to what is of concern to you. I think that, time, distance, all these sorts of things can be at play, but really it comes down to the foundation of it all, because we can stay up at the surface and we can debate left, right, and center, long distance relationship. We can, look at, finances. We can look at stages of life and all of those important things. But what we really need to look at as well, as a foundational point, is where do I want to go in my life? What would be truly inspiring and fulfilling in this relationship, and have them do the same, and then come together on that. Because most people don't get the selection right? They just get caught up in attraction, and then that diminishes because they're unconscious to the dynamics that we're talking about today. And they never really have any clarity over who they are, what they want, where they want to go. And so that's where it comes down to, as I forget who said it before, the gamble aspect, right? It's not, I think it was Graham, I'm not sure, but it's not about gambling. Life is a gamble when you stay unconscious and you just default, but you are always at choice point to build awareness around yourself, of others, right? And to be able to consciously design your life and your relationship in the direction that you'd be most inspired to. So vision, values comes down to the basis of that, because if you have a partner who has shares and co-creates a very deeply inspiring and fulfilling vision for with you, right? You both have that sharing of that. You also know your values as individuals, and you can see how you living in your values actually supports them to live within theirs, and vice versa. And the third one I'd say is that you both have a growth mindset, because relationships are filled with challenges, as is life, and they're inevitable. But what gets you through everything tough and gets you growing and expanding and evolving is having a growth mindset, right? If you don't have that, you might, that's where most people just default, right? And then just end up settling in life and in their relationships. And I take it that anybody watching a message like this are not going to be the kind of people who are settling in their lives. They're trying to reach, right, for their greatness, for their fulfillment. And this is just one aspect of it. So hope that helps, Gord. And Raby, good morning to you, and Valencia and Nando, namaste. Thank you for your kind words. Great to have you here, Nando. And Amarinda and Gord, message me the name of the book. I'm not going to probably do that unless you message me, because I won't be able to find you. But tell me, this is The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. It'll pop up, just Google it. It's a very popular book, and grateful that you're going to take that on board, and would love to hear your experience as you begin reading that. And Ravi is here as well, and much love to you, Bill. So that's my message for each and every one of you guys today. So just, I hope that it's given you more awareness, something to push off, something to really just work out where you currently are in the realm of intimate relationship, and aspire to the new emergence of that masculine and feminine dynamic that is integrated, right? Integrated intimacy, the ability to flex and flow between your masculine and your feminine in your entire life, right? To make a situation better rather than worse, right? To be consciously designing your life, to be able to access your masculine energy when it's called for, to be able to access your feminine energy when that's called for, and in your intimate relationship, be able to play on those differences so that you can not only maintain, but you can absolutely expand the level of attraction in your relationship over time, and not settle for that old school mentality of, the honeymoon lasts in the beginning and then you become roommates, right? That doesn't have to be your reality. So be a conscious designer of your life, access integrated intimacy. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up today and contributing to the conversation with your words of wisdom and your questions. You are so appreciated. And Graham, very inspirational. Thanks. I'm grateful to hear that, my friend. And Ashen has joined us as well. So hope you guys just joining now do catch the recording, get a ton of value from today's message. And as always, my reminder to each and every one of you is to go out there and live authentically, love deeply, and contribute meaningfully and purposefully. And Jay Kashan, thank you so much for sharing the link. So that you guys who want to get that book, The Way of the Superior Man, which I highly, highly recommend for everybody wanting to master the dynamics of intimate relationship, then you are so appreciated, my friend. Appreciate you. So that is it from me, and I will see you guys very soon. Much love.